Hello, good morning. The second part of Unit 7 is about Harry Wadsworth Longfellow, who is a poet, and we'll go through the life and his work. So, Harry Wadsworth Longfellow, born on February the 27th, 1807 in Portland, Maine. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow became a Harvard scholar, and he versed in several European languages. Longfellow died in March 24, 1882 in Cambridge, Massachusetts. He was heavily influenced by Romanticism and he became famous as a poet and novelist with works like Hyperion, Evangeline, Poem on Slavery, and the songs of Hiawatha. He was also known for his translation of Dante's The Divine Comedy. He is remembered for his ability to merge American and European traditions. The Brahim poets. He was part of the Brahimian poets. The writings of the Brahim poets fused American and European tradition and sought to create a continuity of shared American Atlantic experience. These scholar poets attempted to educate and elevate the general populace by introducing an European dimension to American literature. Brahim poets, pro and cons. By insisting on European things and forms, they retarded the growth of a distinctive American consciousness. They helped the widespread of poetry and literature. They were Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, James Russell Lowell, Oliver Wendell Holmes. The sentimental, appealing to the emotions, poems of the American writer Henry Wadsworth Longfellow made him an extremely popular author at home and in other countries of the 19th century. So he wrote a very famous poem about Paul Revere. So who was it? Henry Wadsworth Longfellow poem Paul Revere's Ride, written in 1860 and published in 1861 in the Atlantic Monthly. Is transformed Paul Revere from a relatively obscure, although locally known, figure into national folk hero. Most people know him only for his famous ride to Lexington on the night of April 1755. Reverse's life, however, was a long and productive one, involving industry, politics, and community service. Paul Reverse's ride. There were two routes that the British soldier could take, one by land through the Boston Neck and one by sea across the Charles River. Paul Revere arranged to have a signal lit on the old North Church, one lantern if the British were coming by land, and two lanterns if they were coming by sea, and began to make preparation for his ride to alert the local militian citizens about the impending attack. So here, if you click on the link, you will have the whole poem commented by a famous author. Now I would like to go quickly over with you the quiz that you have to do it online on Moodle, which is the quiz 7 and is mainly about the poem. So one of the questions that you may find is Henry Wadsworth Longfellow was also known for his translation of Dante's The Divine Comedy. So this is the answer. So then we have Henry Wadsworth Longfellow poem Paul Revere's Ride was written in 1860 and published in 1861 in the Atlantic Monthly. So now we have to go through who was Paul Revere. Was he a poet? Was he a soldier? Or was it a normal person who became an hero? So the answer is that he was a normal person who became an hero. Now we have some choices to make. So there were two routes that the British soldier could take. So one by land through the Boston Neck and by sea across the Charles River. So the answer is A, that by land through the Boston Neck and by sea across the Charles River. The poem starts with the following line. Listen, my children, and you shall hear. So this is the correct one. So what was the job of Paul Revere? Paul Revere, in fact, was a silversmith. Who is a silversmith? A silversmith is a metal worker who crafts objects from silver. Where did take place the event depicted in the poem? So we have three choices: Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. The correct answer is Boston. So Paul Revere was an early revolutionary from Boston. So now we have three choices: who made a number of key connections with leaders of Loyal 9, who made a number of key connections with leaders of the Songs of Liberty, who had no ties with the leaders of Loyal 9 or Songs of Liberty. So the correct answer is B, that he was in connection with the leaders of the Songs of Liberty. Which of the below lines belongs to the poem? The rude bridge that arched the flood. Here once the embattled farm stood, the people will awaken and listen to hear. So the correct one is number C. The people will awaken and listen to hear. Which is the correct verse of the poem? By land or sea from the town tonight. By river or by air from the town tonight. By land or by sea in the town tonight. The answer is A, by land or sea from the town tonight.